So I'm going to take you through a really important document that's going to help you understand and develop a nutrition and hydration plan that's specific to your needs under different conditions. And you want to fill this out prior to your big training sessions, your race specific sessions, so your long bikes, your long runs leading up to the race. So the more weeks that you get information down and written will help you and give you more data so you can make a plan specific to your needs and the conditions on your important race day. So here's the document, and I'm going to walk you through the specific details of it. So along the row on the top, what you'll see is your time of day, and I've indicated two different times that you want to nail down. One is your plan for your pre-racer session. So what are you eating or planning to eat or drink the morning of or prior to your training session or race? The next row down is, did you achieve that? So that's where you'll simply put a check mark, or if you made any changes to your plan, that's where you'll mark that there. Then the next time that we're really dialing in is what you plan to do, eat, and drink for that training session, during that training session and race. So this could be for your long bike, what do you plan to do, how much do you plan to take in per hour during the bike and the run. And again, that bottom column is, did you achieve that, or did you make any changes to your plan? So now the columns along the top indicate the important factors that you want to consider. One is your water intake. So pre-session and during your session, how much water per hour do you plan to take in? What volume do you plan to take in? Fluid calories, so what type and how many calories do you plan to take in? So this could be if you take a sports nutrition fluid in of some sort. That's where you put in, okay, how many calories do you take in per hour of that fluid? The next column over is the solid calories. So if you take any solid calories, this includes gels, you would put them in here. So what type do you take in and how many calories does that contain? Then your sodium content of that, all of those fluid and solid calories. So usually on the nutrition guidelines or label on the back, it'll indicate per serving size how much sodium is in that. Another simple calculation is generally a quarter teaspoon of salt is equal to 500 milligrams of sodium, just to give you an idea. Then the temperature, degrees, and humidity, the wind conditions, and then how did you feel, what was your effort? So for example, I did a sheet at the bottom here which actually fills in each one of these columns so you can see. So I actually filled this first section in the day before the actual session, and then below the achieved sections I filled in after the session was done. So I evaluated my performance compared to what I planned to do. So if we look at this, I plan to take in about 750 milliliters of water, so just along that top, the second row down, what was my plan for the pre-race session? I usually take in about 750 milliliters of water. I nailed that, got a cup of coffee, yep, had that, but I just put the note in, I had an extra half a cup because it was good and I felt like it. Solid calories, have an avocado salted with some bacon in there, so 2 strips. Check mark there. Worked out to about 1,500 milligrams of sodium, so check, got that. The temperature and humidity pre-session doesn't matter because I'm not actually training in that right now. And then how did I feel? What was my effort? So for this part, my plan was to get a good sleep because I know that's important, so I'll shut down my electronics in bed before bed at 8 p.m., read and use breath work if needed, so I get to sleep, within that hour. I slept 7 hours, I felt good, slept well, felt ready to go. So that's how I evaluated my plan for that particular race. Training session. So the next row down was, what did I plan to do during the training session? So I knew I was out there for about 5 hours, a lot of climbing. I wanted to keep a real moderate effort during the day, keep my heart rate in check. So stayed to that 750 milliliters of water an hour. I used 2 scoops of S fuel, so that's about a bottle an hour. 2 scoops of S fuel an hour on the bike, so that's about 90 calories. I had 1 Powerball, which is 120 calories. Taken in 1 bite every 30 minutes. That works out to about 1,000 milligrams of sodium an hour. At the start, it was about 16 degrees. Overcast. By the end, it was 29 degrees, mixture of overcast and sunny. That was the plan. The wind started out about 12 with gusts up to 23 in parts. And then I wanted to make sure that I had steady energy, consistent effort on the flats and climbs, keep my heart rate in a range of 125 to 140, stay positive, and make sure I stay present using form cues. So for me, that's head low, shoulders relaxed, steady pressure on the pedals, easy on the ups and push on the down, and using deep breaths, especially on the climb, to keep that heart rate nice and low. On the run, I want to run about 45 minutes an hour off the bike, so take in usually about half a bottle, up to 500 milliliters, 2 scoops of S fuel an hour there, and then that works again. Add a little bit extra salt to that fluid concoction. It would be in a flask, about 1,000 milligrams an hour of sodium, and then temperature same as it was on the bike. And I wanted to use run cues to stay present again. So thinking about being light on the feet, running tall, running proud posture, breathe deeply again if on the uphills, quick arms to help generate quick feet. And then that last row at the bottom is evaluating whether or not I achieved that objective. So I stayed with that 750 milliliters an hour on both the run and the bike. Made a small change though when the fluid intake. I noticed that in about hour 3 I was feeling a little bit sluggish for about 30 minutes or so, so I had to up my intake of fluid and nutrition. Did that with an extra bottle of half a bottle of S fuels and an extra Powerball just to get a little extra energy in the tank. And that helped me come around about 30 minutes later. So by hour 4, I was feeling pretty good. So made that little switch and documented that there. Stayed to my solid calories. Again, adding that extra ball in an hour, which I noted here. Temperature got a little hotter, got up to 30 degrees. There was a bit of wind gust, but nothing major. Pretty much stayed on target there. Wind was pretty low throughout the day. So stayed present and positive throughout. When I look at how I felt and my effort, had a little rough patch, like I said, for about 30 minutes around hour 3, but took in some extra fluid, half a bottle, and an extra Powerball. Felt good around hour 4 again. That tells me I need to increase my intake a little bit in the first 2 hours, especially on hot days. On the run, that seemed to work well with that extra intake as I felt good all the way through. So that's an example of filling out this evaluation form, and it really helps you collect the intel that you need under different conditions so that you can start to develop a plan for yourself during a race regardless of the conditions, because you've already got this data for these efforts that you're going to be putting out on race day, so you can plan to nail your nutrition, because it's so important to allow you to have a great race. Again, having a great race and setting yourself up is about controlling the things you can control and being able to understand what your body needs and how to fuel it, both from solid and fluid calorie perspective, will really help you perform your best on race day and avoid any unwanted, bonks or trouble spots during the race. So please take this document, fill it out for those long race-specific sessions, training sessions, and this will help you really dial in your nutrition plan for your big day.